high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
One hop the wall and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final.
Roughly 10 months have passed since Falmouth Commodores baseball was played. We are back at the spot where it all ended a year ago, here at the Crow's Nest at Gov Fuller Field, ready for the 2019 season to commence. It's opening day, David. Are you ready?
I'm jacked up, man. Here we go.
Welcome to the very first pregame show of the 2019 season. I'm Daniel LaRose, joined alongside my broadcast partner for the second year in a row, David Korsanowski, ready to be back and welcoming you back. And before we head into opening day and the projections for this year and looking ahead towards the full 44-game slate, we got to look back at what was a year ago, a pretty successful year for the Doors that ended a little short.
Yeah, so they finished third in the West Division out of 5 teams. Might not sound that impressive on paper, but the West was absolutely stacked. Wareham, the best team in the league, won the Cape Cod League Championship. Falmouth, with that upset against the 2-seed Hyannis, ended by a thrilling walk-off in Game 2. The Wareham series was a heartbreaker, losing by 1 and then 3, but Jeff Trundy's back for year 21, and so are a couple of players. I think they'll be good this year.
A lot of roster turnover, so it's really tough to compare how teams from a year ago will fare this year because, I mean, you got half the Doors roster from last year all drafted. They're all up to bigger and better things, but there's still a couple guys coming back, as you mentioned, and we'll get into that because looking at the pitching matchup for the Commodores, it's Tommy Sheehan, a returner, going up against Logan Allen from FIU for Harwich.
Yeah, so starting with Logan Allen, an impressive pitcher getting the start on opening day. He pitches down at FIU in Florida, but Tommy Sheehan is a guy who has steadily gotten better. His freshman year at Notre Dame, he walked more guys than he struck out, but this season, down in South Bend, he was the Friday starter for a majority of the season, had 2 complete games against ACC opponents in Clemson and Virginia, and he's putting together his second summer on the Cape starting tonight.
And the newest member of our broadcast team, Katie Florio, caught up with Tommy before first pitch.
Thanks, guys. I'm now joined alongside tonight's starting pitcher, Tommy Sheehan. And Tommy, you just arrived into Falmouth a couple days ago. You're starting on the mound tonight. What emotions are going through your mind as you get ready to head into tonight?
I'm just excited to get out there. It's going to be a good opportunity, so just looking forward to going out there and having fun with the guys.
What do you consider as your specific strengths as a pitcher?
I say my command's really good. I really improved on that this year at Notre Dame. I got my walks down a lot, so just like pounding the zone and attacking hitters is one of my strengths.
Now, you have some experience as you came to Falmouth last July, and as you return for this season, what are you looking to accomplish both personally and collectively as a team?
Obviously winning a championship as a team, that'd be great, but I'm just looking to help the team out any way I can. So.
Thank you, David and Danny. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Katie. And there you have it, Tommy. He's ready to go. Man, a few words.
Yes, absolutely.
So now let's, as we always do, look into our crystal balls, act like we're, the smartest people on the planet. Sure. And let's try to make a season projection looking ahead. Let's start with the roster first. Okay. I mean, looking at this roster, Falmouth is looking pretty stacked.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And right now, Danny, it's kind of a weird period because every team on the Cape has a lot of temporary players. So for those who haven't watched the Cape League before, there are a lot of guys who are still playing in the College World Series and are making that trip home, maybe just getting bounced from Super Regionals. So these are guys who will be here for a few weeks. But one guy who's starting in center field who will be really good this summer, I think, is Blake Dunn out of Western Michigan. He put up over a .350 average this season, got a lot of power and a really good outfielder. And on the other side for Harwich, some guys from Wake Forest. Now, the Demon Deacons didn't have a great season, but Chris Lanzilli, great outfielder, and Bobby Seymour, ACC Player of the Year, are already here for the Mariners. So it'll be a good matchup even here on Game 1.
It's going to be interesting to see the talent for sure today, and then in a couple weeks from now, we're going to see brand new rosters when these teams meet again. And something that we want to talk about with the Commodores, because last year it was pitching dominance that they really relied on. Guys like Tyler Dyson, Adam Lasky, who got drafted, Matt Canarino, all got drafted this past summer, and they kind of put the team on their back heading into the playoffs. That's why they were able to be so solid. And do you think it's going to be pitching again for the Doors? I mean, hey, it's a wood bat league that leads them to the promised land.
I think you hit on it. This is a pitcher's league, right? Because guys struggle a lot with the wood bats, and it takes an adjustment period. When you got a pitching coach like Mike Mike Landry, who's here for his 8th season, and you got Jeff Trundy, who's in his 21st year. This is a team that had the lowest team ERA in the Cape League last year. I think that the pitchers will be a key for Falmouth this year.
All right, now, Nostradamus, it's your turn to put you on the spot. You got a record suggestion and where the Commodores are going to finish when all is said and done come August?
All right, I say second in the West with a 25-19 record. Now, granted, it is hard to tell, but when you got a guy like Jeff Trundy leading the squad, it's tough to believe that they're going to miss the playoffs. I think it'll be another successful year here at Go Fuller Field.
So we'll have your playoff suggestions and recommendations when it comes time to when the Commodores inevitably make the playoffs, according to David Korzenowski. But first, we've got first pitch of Game 1 coming up at 6 p.m. right here on YouTube Live on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Be sure to tune in. That's, again, 6 p.m. For David Korzenowski, I'm Danny LaRose. We'll see you then.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1990. Holds over 1,000 events nationwide with players from the Cape League, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory has now played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
As I said in the pregame show, he's a guy who's steadily gotten better, especially with control. Something he talked with our very own Katie Florio about in pregame was being able to pound strikes. He struggled a little bit with the walk numbers freshman year, but quick 2-pitch out to start the summer season for Falmouth. Cam Thompson now will be the hitter for Harwich, facing a 1-0 count. Watches a strike hit the outside corner. Thompson playing third base for these Mariners. Their lineup goes as such. Chris Galland in right field. Cam Thompson following him at the hot corner. Chris Lanzilli out in left. Nico Cavadas out at first base. Danny Harris, the shortstop, batting 5th. Matt Koperniak batting 6th and doing the designated hitting. Brian Dempsey, the 7-hitter, playing 2nd. And Matt Oldham at catcher, batting 8th. Rounding out the order, Joe Lamusio in center. As here's the pitch from Sheehan. He grounds it foul, does Thompson. Count remains 1-2 strikes. Thompson, a rising senior at Kansas State from Pasadena, Texas. He's a guy who had a really good freshman year, was a freshman All-American. Then batted .257 sophomore year and most recently .275 in his junior season. 1-2 breaking ball he sees from Sheehan, misses well outside. The count even up 2-2 strikes. So Galland, the leadoff hitter out of Boston College, grounded out towards third base. Sheehan fell behind him, and you mentioned the control is a major part of his game now that he's settled it down. And there's the control right there. A fastball in the outside corner catches Thompson with a backwards K. It's quickly 2 up and 2 down for Sheehan. And Tommy Sheehan, a guy who was on the mound in the final game of the 2018 season for the Falmouth Commodores. He pitched in the top of the 9th against the Wareham Gatemen, got the final defensive out before the Commodores were bounced from the playoffs. A successful season for Jeff Trundy's squad. First pitch he throws to Chris Lanzilli, misses outside. How about that, going full circle for Sheehan? And we noticed some of the symmetry last year. The first game here at Gov Fuller Field was a 7-4 loss to Wareham, as was the last game that they played in the playoffs, a 7-4 loss to the Gatemen. Hoping for a different outcome this time around, as it's been quite some time for the Doors since their last championship. 1980, the longest drought in the Cape League. Yeah. And, you know, they're not towards the bottom of the list by any means. Yeah, not at all. 7 championships, but it's just been a long time. Yeah, and they won 4 straight championships from the late 60s to the early 70s. Won 4 straight from 68 to 71. And they have been back to the CCBL final as well, losing in back-to-back championship series in 16 and 17 to YD. Here's the 1-2 from Sheehan. He misses just a tad inside to the right-handed bat, Lanzilli, out of Wake Forest. And the Harwich Mariners are a team that are very familiar with tough stretches. I mean, in the 90s, they only made the playoffs once. Yeah. And then they had 11 straight years where they missed the playoffs up until 2011. Here's a ground ball towards the right side, fielded on a backhand flip over to Sheehan covering first base. It's a 1-2-3 inning worked by Tommy Sheehan, and the Doors are up to bat in the home half for the first time in 2019. We'll be right back with more Falmouth Commodores baseball on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Logan Allen, the left-hander out of Florida International University, warming up for the Harwich Mariners as we get set to start the bottom half of inning number 1. And we'll take a look at this Commodores lineup featuring a returner, Hayden Cantrell, playing second base and leading off. He's followed by Trey Cruz, the shortstop, batting second. Blake Dunn out in center field from Western Michigan after him. Batting cleanup, Michael Turner, the catcher from Kent State. Behind him, Tyler Ross, designated hitter, batting fifth. Jake Frasca batting sixth and playing the hot corner. Maddox Houghton out of Lipscomb is manning right field following him. Jackson Coots playing left and batting eighth. And rounding out the order, the transfer from the University of North Carolina. He's heading to UConn in the fall. Ben Kasparius will be playing first base.
And Danny, first impressions when looking at this lineup is a lot of power. So out of this starting lineup, out of the 9 guys, 6 batted above 300 this year, and another 4 batted above 330. Dunn batting 374. Turner, who's in the cleanup spot, 369. So these guys can hit the ball, and we saw it already in BP this week.
They'll have their work cut out for them, however, against a guy like Logan Allen, the rising junior. Big lefty
out of Delaware. Proud partner of the Cape League since 1994. Holds over 1,000 events nationwide with players in high school and junior, including 3 training leagues.
And then this year you got to get better.
Baseball Factory and I have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Only went 4-6. FIU had a really lackluster season, but a 3.11 ERA. And how about this? 120 strikeouts compared to 25 walks over 84 innings.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide with players in high school and junior, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory and I have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Lafayette, Louisiana plays his baseball in his hometown at Louisiana Lafayette. The 1-2 to Cantrell, slow ground ball off his front foot and foul.
The Raging Cajuns.
Raging Cajuns, best name.
Best name, and this is a guy who raked in the season opener last year against Hyannis. He had a triple against the Harbor Hawks down at McKeon Park.
Swings at that, grounds it towards the left side, through the hole, past the diving third baseman Thompson, and Cantrell continues his fantastic opening day stretch. As last year it was the triple en route to the Commodores' 10-4 win. Today he leads it off with a single.
The shortstop, number 2, Trey Cruz.
It's a good start for the Commodores. Base coaches for Jeff Trundy's squad, Brett Becker over at third, and the new guy, Ryan Eiley, at first base. His first summer in Falmouth.
They'll be coaching on the speedy Cantrell on the base paths as Trey Cruz takes a big hack at the first pitch fastball he sees, comes right through it. The defensive alignment for Harwich, Lamusio in center, Lanzilli in left, Galland in right. The infield from left to right, Thompson, Harris, Dempsey, Cavadas. Here's the 0-1 down in the dirt. And, of course, Allen.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide with players in high school and junior, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory and I have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Was just looked back to the right-handed Cruz, who's been drafted twice now. Takes a cut at that fastball, fouls it back. Again, Trey Cruz drafted twice. He was drafted out of high school in the 33rd round by the Astros, and then drafted just this year as an eligible sophomore in the 37th round by the Nats. But he's looking to put together another good year and get things going, get higher up. The 1-2 to Cruz downstairs.
Comes from a big baseball family as well. His grandfather played 19 years in the majors with the Astros, Cardinals, and Yankees. His dad and his uncle played at Rice, and his brother is there as well.
2-2, grounded foul yet again. So he's a college teammate of Matt Cantorino, a fan favorite of the Commodores last year. He started the All-Star game. He was so good, was a compensation round pick this year. I'm sure Cruz has some fun stories about Matt.
He did, yeah. We were talking to him the other day about it, and he said he was a very driven guy, which we know is a fact. He said it was school baseball. He
lots of energy, lots of focus.
Exactly. Studying mechanical engineering down at Rice. Very smart guy and drafted by the Twins.
And his summer definitely lent to his very high draft pick. Cruz looking for the same luck, looking to be a 3-time pick as Cantrell's running on the 2-2. The breaking ball in the dirt is blocked by Oldham, but he can't scoop it up in time. And the speedy Hayden Cantrell swipes second base. Commodores already with a runner in scoring position. Full count to Cruz, nobody out. The pitch, fly ball into left, but he's well out ahead of that breaking pitch, and the count will remain the same.
We're going to get at bat, though, is Cruz. Want to give Cruz
with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors.
Down in the dirt.
Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Blake Dunn will be the hitter now from Western Michigan. He's a guy you mentioned in the pregame show. We're watching him during BP. Boy, does he have a lot of power, and he's taken some good hacks. He had an unreal junior year as well. First pitch to the righty, Dunn, taken well outside.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and junior sports, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory and I have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball
fanfare
with
they kind of
Franklin
had in their
gloves.
dugout, dancing after flyouts, having, Santa hats and stuff. Running again is Cantrell, caught on a miss by Dunn. The throw down to third in time, and Hayden is caught trying to take third base. So that erases the base runner for the Doors, and it's already 2 outs.
Yeah, Oldham didn't have to do too much. That pitch was already upstairs, so he could just pop and throw over to Thompson at third base and getting Cantrell in plenty of time.
1-2 misses down in the dirt, so Blake Dunn, who is sitting pretty with 1 out, a runner on second base in scoring position as the 3-hitter, exactly what you draw up. Instead, now he's facing a 2-strike count with nobody on the base paths and 2 outs. Cantrell getting a little greedy and getting caught the second time around. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed a beautiful breaking ball that Dunn is a little early on, and he is the second strikeout in a row. That will cap off the first inning. 0-0 score as we head to the top of inning number 2 between the Doors and the Mariners. Nico Cavadas will lead off the top of inning number 2. It's grounded slowly back up the middle, fielded on a run, and Trey Cruz looking sharp out there at short. 1 pitch and 1 out thanks to some heroics from Cruz on a quick throw onto first base to catch Cavadas, the 4-hitter.
Cavadas going up against a teammate as well.
line and rolled
nationwide
towards the
for players
bleachers.
of
That would
high
be
school
round two
and
double.
MSW,
So Harris
including
lost his
training
helmet
weeks
spot
here
around
in Indiana.
second. Will have to
Baseball
head back
Factory
to
alumni
second
have
base
played on
as
every
out to right
Division I
field.
college
Houghton
program
couldn't
across the
retrieve
nation.
it. A ground
With
rule
thousands
double,
drafted and
first
more
hit
than
and base
500
runner
who have made it
for
to
the
the majors.
Mariners. And it's
Visit
one out
baseballfactory.com to learn how you can
position.
build your way to greatness.
Yeah, and from what I could see on that play, Houghton just isn't used to this field yet because he was running full head of steam, but then you see that gravel, and there's no real warning track, I guess you could say, at this park. It's much more open. So he kind of put on the brakes a little bit right before he got to that ball, and it landed right inside the right field line.
Yeah, he pretty much tracked it down, but just didn't stick out the glove as ball number 1 misses low to Matt Koperniak, the designated hitter. So we know that Sheehan is throwing a lot of strikes lately. And the Harwich Mariners are swinging early. So far, so good after Harris's double. Koperniak, a rising senior from Trinity College, Adams, Massachusetts native. Hit .394 with 6 home runs just this year. 22 stolen bases as well. He's more of a speedster. Here's the 1-1 breaking ball that misses well outside.